I'm 82 years old, and here's what loneliness really does to a person. It does not arrive all at once. That's the first lie people tell you. They think loneliness comes crashing through the door like a storm, loud, obvious, dramatic. But that's not how it happens. Loneliness is quiet. It slips into your life one missing voice at a time. One empty chair. One phone call that never comes. One holiday where fewer people show up than the year before. It's a slow fading of the light, until one day you wake up and realize you haven't spoken out loud in 3 days except to answer the television. My name is Walter. I was married for 51 years to a woman named June. She was my whole world. And for most of my life, I thought loneliness was something that happened to other people, sad people, forgotten people. The kind of old men who sit alone at diners, stirring cold coffee while staring out windows. I never imagined I would become one of them. But loneliness doesn't care who you used to be. It has a way of finding its way into any house. At 34, I had a full house, 3 noisy children, a wife who sang while cooking. Life was loud and messy. Bills piled on the counter. Baseball gloves in the hallway, wet towels on bathroom floors. It was wonderful. I used to complain about the noise. Now I would give anything to hear it just one more time. The quiet is so heavy now. In the next part, I'll tell you about the moment the silence changed forever. The moment I realized I was truly alone. Stay with me. There's a lot we need to talk about, you and I. Back then, silence sounded like luxury. I used to drive home from work fantasizing about just 5 minutes of peace. Funny, isn't it? I'd pull into the driveway and just sit there, wishing the world would stop spinning for a moment, wishing for just a little bit of quiet. But that's the trick life plays on you. The very things you beg life to remove, the noise, the mess, the constant bustle, those are the things you miss the most later. They become the very things that break your heart, because you realize that noise, it was actually the sound of your life being full. It was the sound of being needed, and when that sound stops, the silence that follows isn't a luxury, it's a weight. June died on a Tuesday morning in October. Peacefully, the doctor said. It was a crisp morning, the kind she always loved. As if there is anything peaceful about watching the only person who truly witnessed your life disappear in front of you. Half of my history went with her. People brought casseroles for about 2 weeks. The house smelled of lasagna and sympathy. The kids called constantly at first, their voices tight. Everybody said the same things. Let us know if you need anything. You're not alone. We'll visit soon. And they meant it when they said it. That's the thing. Most people do not abandon you out of cruelty. They don't mean to leave you behind in the dark. They abandon you slowly because life keeps pulling them forward. Their world has gravity, and yours has stopped. Grief freezes you in place. The world keeps moving. People go to work, they laugh, they buy groceries. I remember standing in the store about 3 months later, staring at 2 loaves of bread, one regular size, one smaller, and I just stood there paralyzed in the aisle. I suddenly realized nobody would finish the regular loaf before it molded anymore. It was such a small thing, but it hit me like a physical blow. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Loneliness hits you in stupid little moments like that, not dramatic moments. Bread. It's the empty space in the pantry. The silence is a heavy companion. It doesn't shout. It just sits there, taking up room. Half-empty toothpaste tubes that last forever now. Only one coffee cup in the sink. The side of the bed that never wrinkles anymore. At first, I tried to stay busy. It's funny how long things last when you're the only one using them. A tube of toothpaste used to be gone in a month. Now, it's like it never gets empty. Only one coffee cup in the sink at the end of the day. It looks so small in there, so solitary. It's a quiet little reminder of what's missing. the side of the bed that never wrinkles anymore. I still sleep on my side, afraid to cross that invisible line in the middle of the mattress. That's what everybody tells old people to do. Stay busy, find a hobby, fill the hours, as if activity and connection are the same thing. I cleaned the garage until the floor shone, organized my tools, started walking every morning just to feel the sun on my face, watched documentaries until my eyes grew tired. I folded and refolded towels, trying to make the corners match perfectly. But loneliness is not about having nothing to do. Not really. It's about having nobody who notices you exist while you're doing it. That's the difference. You can be the busiest man in the world and still be completely alone. It's like being a lighthouse with no ships in the sea. The light is still on, it's still spinning with all its might, but what is it for? Who is it guiding home? One night I fell asleep in my recliner around 8 o'clock. My book had slipped to the floor. When I woke up, the house was completely dark, except for the television flickering blue light across the room. It felt like I was waking up in a different world, a world where time had stopped. And for one terrifying second, I forgot June was dead. I actually turned my head, expecting to see her knitting beside me, her needles clicking like they had for 40 years. But there was nobody there, and I cannot explain to you the kind of silence that hits a house after hope realizes it made a mistake. That was the first night I understood loneliness was becoming something dangerous, because loneliness changes your mind before it ever changes your life. People think loneliness just makes you sad. No, loneliness changes the way you see yourself. After enough unanswered phone calls, you stop thinking, people are busy. You start thinking, maybe I don't matter very much anymore. That's the poison of it, not the silence itself, the meaning you slowly attach to the silence. I stopped shaving regularly around that time. Not intentionally, I just stopped seeing the point. Nobody was coming over. Nobody cared whether I looked presentable. When you don't have a witness to your life, you start to feel like a ghost in your own home. And ghosts don't need to shave. Then I started eating worse. Soup from cans, crackers for dinner, cheap frozen meals. Cooking for one feels strange after cooking for a family your entire life. You stand there chopping onions for nobody, and suddenly the effort feels ridiculous, like throwing a party and knowing the guest of honor will never show up. That's another thing loneliness does. It makes ordinary care feel unnecessary. You stop taking care of yourself because care only makes emotional sense when someone else might notice. It's like a garden that nobody visits. After a while, you stop pulling the weeds, you stop watering the roses, you just let the fence lean and the gate creak. We tend to ourselves because of the people who love us. When those people are gone, we have to find a new reason to keep the garden growing. About a year after June died, my daughter invited me to Thanksgiving. She sounded so hopeful on the phone. "Come stay with us, Dad," she said. I almost said no. I felt heavy, like I didn't want to bring my silence into her noisy house. But I went. I packed my bag and I went. Beautiful house. Loud grandchildren, smell of turkey and cinnamon everywhere. It was everything I used to have, everything I thought I had lost. But the contrast, the noise against my own silence, it was sharper than I expected. It made me realize just how deep the quiet had settled into my bones. In the next part, I'll tell you about the moment at that dinner table when I felt more alone in a room full of people than I ever did in my empty house. And I remember sitting at that table, surrounded by people who loved me while feeling completely invisible. That confused me at first. How can somebody feel lonely in a full room? But loneliness is not the absence of people. It is the absence of being deeply known. Nobody there remembered who I was at 27. Nobody there knew what June and I survived together. the battles we fought, and the quiet victories we shared. When you are with someone that long, your lives become like two trees grown together. Your roots are so tangled that you don't know where one ends and the other begins. When that person is gone, you don't just lose them. You lose the version of yourself that lived in their eyes. You lose the only person who held your history. That realization nearly destroyed me. I started talking less, started declining invitations. People thought I wanted space, but the truth is, I was embarrassed by my sadness. Nobody wants to become the old man who brings grief into every room. You don't want to be the cloud in someone else's sunny day. So you isolate quietly to make everybody else comfortable. And isolation feeds loneliness the way rain feeds weeds. It grows until it covers everything. One afternoon, I found myself sitting in my car in the driveway for almost 2 hours after returning from the pharmacy. I couldn't make myself go inside. I just sat there, engine off, listening to the ticking of the clock, paralyzed, because I knew exactly what was waiting in there. Silence, no footsteps in the hallway, no voice calling my name from the kitchen, no life, just the echoes of what used to be. In the next part, I'll tell you about the night I finally decided to answer the silence. The night I realized that loneliness can be a teacher if you're brave enough to listen. Stay with me. We're getting to the part where the light starts to come back. Just the refrigerator humming and the grandfather clock ticking like a reminder that time keeps passing whether you participate in life or not. It's a rhythmic, mechanical heart that never tires, but it doesn't beat for you. It just marks the seconds of your absence from the world. And this is the part people rarely admit. Loneliness can make you resent the living. I became bitter watching couples laugh at restaurants. Their joy felt like a taunt. Bitter hearing neighbors argue through the walls because at least somebody was talking to them. Their anger sounded like a luxury compared to my quiet. Bitter when my children ended phone calls quickly because they had soccer practice or meetings or dinner reservations. Their lives were overflowing and mine was just empty. I hated that bitterness in myself. But grief mixed with loneliness turns ordinary envy into something sharp and ugly, like a splinter you can't reach, but feel with every move. It's a frost that settles on your spirit, turning everything cold and brittle. If you leave it untreated long enough, it starts to change the very person you are. Then came the worst part, the numbness. Because eventually loneliness stops hurting loudly. It stops screaming for attention. It settles into your bones quietly. You stop expecting calls, stop expecting visits. You stop checking the mailbox because you already know it's just empty air inside. You stop expecting connection, and that is dangerous. Human beings can survive pain much longer than they can survive hopelessness. Hopelessness is like a slow-setting concrete. I remember going 6 days without physically touching another human being. Not a handshake, not a hug, not even the brush of a shoulder in a store. Nothing. People do not realize how unnatural that is for the human body. We are built for contact. We are wired for the vibration of another voice in the air. We need proof we exist. In the next part, I'll tell you about the person who finally broke that 6-day silence and why I almost didn't let them in. And when those things disappear long enough, something inside you starts shutting down. It's like an engine running out of fuel. At 79, my doctor told me something I will never forget. He said, "Walter, your blood work is fine, but you look emotionally malnourished." Emotionally malnourished. Lord, I had never heard a truth so sharp. That man described loneliness better than anybody ever had. Because that's exactly what it feels like a riverbed that has forgotten what the water feels like. Starving invisibly, like going hungry in ways food cannot fix. You can eat the finest meal, but your heart remains hollow. It's a hunger for a witness, a hunger for a reflection of yourself in another's eyes. A few months later, something happened that changed me. It was a Tuesday, I think. One of those gray mornings where the world feels made of concrete and iron. I slipped on ice outside my house. Nothing dramatic, just an old man hitting frozen concrete harder than old bones should. The impact was quiet, but the shock was loud. I remember lying there staring at that gray winter sky, realizing something horrifying. Nobody would know I was there for hours if I couldn't get up. My world had become that small. Do you understand the terror of that? Knowing your existence has become quiet enough that your disappearance might take time to notice. It's a fear that doesn't scream, it just cold. I managed to crawl toward the porch rail and pull myself up, shaking like a leaf in a storm. But something inside me broke that day. Not physically, old bones are stronger than we think. It was my spirit that fractured. Because loneliness had finally shown me its final form. It wasn't just sadness anymore. It was invisibility. And human beings are not built to feel invisible for too long. We are like mirrors. We need something to reflect if we're going to show the world who we are. In the next part, I'll tell you about the stranger who didn't walk past. The one who looked down and actually saw me. Stay with me. We are getting to the light. There is a way back from the quiet. I found it, and I want to show you the way. After that fall, I started noticing how many elderly people were disappearing quietly in plain sight. It was like I had been given a new pair of glasses that let me see the invisible. It's like a library full of beautiful, wise books that nobody opens anymore. The stories are all there. The wisdom is deep, but the pages are slowly gathering dust because nobody thinks to look inside. The cashier at the grocery store who talked just a little too long. I used to be in a hurry. Now I realize she's just trying to hold on to the only voice she's heard all day. The widower sitting alone at the diner every morning pretending to read newspapers he never turns the pages of. He's not there for the news. He's there for the hum of other people. The old woman at church who hugged people just a second too long. I began realizing loneliness has a look to it once you've lived inside it long enough. It lives in people's eyes, in the way they linger during conversations, hoping for one more sentence, in how slowly they walk back to empty cars after social events. They walk slow because nobody is waiting at home anyway. There is no rush to return to the silence, and suddenly I understood we have an entire generation quietly starving for connection while pretending to be fine. It's like the tide has gone out and forgotten to come back in. You're left on the shore, exposed and a little cold, watching the world sail by on the horizon. That realization made me angry, not at my children, angry at the lie we tell older people, the lie that independence is the highest form of dignity. Sometimes independence is just socially acceptable isolation. We praise old people for not being a burden while they slowly disappear emotionally behind closed doors. And the terrible thing is, many of us help create our own loneliness. I know I did. Because pride grows stronger as the world stops needing you. Pride is a weed that thrives in the dark. In the next part, I'll tell you about the day I finally swallowed my pride and asked for help. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, and it saved my life. People offered help sometimes. Neighbors invited me to places. My daughter asked me to stay with them for a while. Friends called. I could see the concern in their eyes, the genuine desire to reach across the silence and pull me back into the light. And I said no over and over, not because I didn't love them, but because I didn't want to seem needy. I didn't want to be the one who required extra care. That's another thing loneliness does. It convinces you to protect your dignity at the expense of your humanity. It builds a wall around your heart and calls it pride. You start performing strength instead of admitting pain, especially men from my generation. We were taught to survive silently, to carry grief quietly, like a heavy stone in our pocket, to never admit we are scared. But loneliness grows best in silence. It thrives in the spaces where the words are left unsaid. One evening, I sat in my living room looking at an old photograph of June and me dancing in our kitchen sometime in the 1970s. We were young, laughing, completely broke, and I suddenly started crying harder than I had at her funeral. Because I realized something devastating. The loneliest part of aging is not your body failing. It's becoming the only remaining witness to your own life. It's like having a map to a city that has been completely erased from the earth. All the people who remember your beginnings slowly vanish. Your parents gone, your siblings gone, old friends who knew the stories before you were Walter, the old man, gone. Eventually, you are carrying entire decades of memories nobody else on earth remembers anymore. Do you know how heavy that becomes? To hold a lifetime nobody else can fully see. That night changed something in me, because I realized loneliness was not just happening to me. It was a shared condition I had been hiding from. I was participating in it. I was feeding it every time I refused connection because pride told me to stay hidden. So the next morning, I did something small. Isolation is a hungry guest. The more you feed it silence, the more it demands. I realized that my pride was the one preparing the meals. Tiny, really. I walked to the diner down the street. The air was cool and smelled of damp earth. For the first time in months, I wasn't just passing through. Instead of taking my food home to eat in the dark, I sat down. That's all. Just sat down and let the world happen around me. A waitress named Maria came over and started talking to me. Nothing profound. Weather, coffee, her grandson's baseball game, just the music of an ordinary life. But halfway through the conversation, I realized something strange. My chest hurt less. That constant heaviness loneliness creates had softened just a little. Human beings do not heal in isolation. We are like campfire sparks. Alone, we fade quickly into the dark. But together, we keep the fire going. We regulate each other emotionally. A voice, a smile, a shared joke. These things are the medicine our spirits were built to receive. Somebody remembering your usual order. It sounds small until you go years without enough of it. It's a way of being seen without having to say a word. So I started returning every morning. At first I barely spoke. Then slowly I started learning names. Frank, a retired teacher with a booming laugh. Lorraine, a widow who always wore bright purple scarves like a flag of defiance, and a truck driver who came in before dawn every Tuesday. We became a map of a different kind. In the next part, I'll tell you about the gift Lorraine gave me that changed how I saw my empty house forever. Stay with me. The best part is coming. The table is growing and there is a seat for you too. None of us said it out loud, but we were all there for the same reason. To remind ourselves we still existed in the lives of other people. That's what loneliness really steals from you. Not company. Recognition. The feeling that your existence still reaches another human being in some meaningful way. It's like tuning a radio and finally finding a clear, strong signal. At 80 years old, I started volunteering at the library reading stories to children twice a week. It smelled of old paper and new possibilities, a different kind of home. And let me tell you something beautiful. Children do not care that you are old if you show up with warmth in your voice. They don't see the years, they see the story. They do not care about wrinkles or slow walking or hearing aids. To them, a wrinkle is just a line on a map to a land of adventures they haven't visited yet. They just care whether your eyes light up while reading Dragons and Pirates and Talking Bears. Those children brought me back to life in ways medicine never could. Not because they cured my loneliness completely. You never fully stop missing people you deeply loved. June is still a quiet hum in the back of my mind every single day. but because they reminded me I still had something to give besides grief. That's important. Loneliness gets worse when your usefulness disappears. It's like a tool forgotten in a drawer. Human beings need purpose almost as much as connection. Purpose is the sun that keeps our spirits from freezing. Without it, the days just blur together. You stop waking up for life and start merely waking up to survive it. It's like being a sundial in the shade. You have all the structure, but none of the light. But when a child looks at you and asks, "What happens next, Mr. Walter?" well, you realize you have to stay to find out. You realize the story isn't over yet. I still have lonely days now. Of course I do. Loneliness isn't a room you leave once and lock the door behind you. It's more like a season that returns from time to time. I still reach for June sometimes in my sleep before reality returns and the cold air reminds me she's gone. It's a reflex of the heart. I still hear certain songs and have to sit down because memory suddenly becomes too heavy to carry standing up. Like a suitcase filled with stones you forgot you were holding. But loneliness no longer owns me the way it once did, because I finally learned the difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude is peaceful. It's the lake. Isolation is starvation. It's the empty shelf. And here is what I need you to understand if you are listening to me right now feeling forgotten. Loneliness lies to you. It whispers that nobody cares. It tells you that your story is finished. Do not believe it. That voice is not wisdom. It is pain pretending to be truth. Reaching out doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Call somebody today just to say hello. Go sit somewhere people gather. Join the church group, the walking club, the volunteer center, the diner conversation. Even if you don't say much at first, just be in the hum of life. Not because every interaction will become deep friendship. That's not the point. You go because human beings need to be around other human beings to keep their own edges from blurring. We slowly disappear without others reflecting life back at us. We are like mirrors in the sun. We need that light to show the world and ourselves that we are still here. And if you still have people who love you, even imperfectly, let them in. Stop building the walls and start building the gate. Perfection isn't required for connection. Stop pretending you are stronger than your need for connection. Nobody is. Not at 22, not at 82. Our hearts have a thirst that only another person can quench. I used to think the opposite of loneliness was love, but I found out it's something else, something even more vital. But I was wrong. I used to think the opposite of loneliness was love, but it's not. The opposite of loneliness is being known, truly, deeply known. Being known is like being a star in a constellation. You're not just a single point of light in the dark. You're part of a pattern that makes sense to someone else. It is being seen clearly by another person and realizing your existence still matters in somebody else's world. It's the proof that you occupy a space in their heart. That is what keeps a soul alive. It's the fuel that keeps the internal pilot light burning when the world outside gets cold and quiet. Recognition is the echo of your own life bouncing back at you. Without it, your voice just travels forever into the void until you forget what you sounded like. So here's what loneliness really does to a person after enough years. It slowly convinces them they are no longer visible. It whispers that they've become part of the background. And once a person starts believing that, they begin disappearing long before death actually arrives. They stop reaching for the light because they don't think they're worth the glow. Don't let that happen to you or to somebody you love. It's a quiet tragedy that we have the power to stop with just a single intentional gesture. Because sometimes the difference between surviving old age and surrendering to it is as small as a phone call on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. A shared cup of coffee where the steam rises between two people who are really looking at each other. It's a ritual of shared existence. Or somebody saying, "I'm glad you're here," and truly meaning it. Those 4 words can rebuild a person's entire world in an instant. It changes the atmosphere of a heart. It turns the maybe I don't matter into I am essential. It's the highest form of hospitality we can offer one another. So reach out, be the mirror for someone else today. Show them their own light. Because when we are known, we are never truly alone. Our stories continue in each other.